I really want to talk today about not just killing people, but also about game AI. It's a complicated thing. It's a heckin' cool thing, and in Hitman they do a great job with their AI. So we're gonna of course showcase that by killing everybody but the target. So we have AI right there. We have crime noticed. Why am I being hunted? I'm innocent. Greetings to you too. Wait, who's in combat with me? It says combat. Who is it who's shooting me? There we go. Okay, I'm fine now. See, everything's fine. Guys, the shooter's gone. You can rest easy. One of the things that you always have with game AI is you have input, and you might have multiple inputs going on at once. It's always interesting to me when you see AI that does not work right. Whether it works right or wrong really isn't about whether or not it's actually working. It's about whether or not it looks like it's working. You look very suspicious standing in front of that toilet sign. Did you see how he was avoiding eye contact in front of the toilet sign? He probably dropped a massive deuce and doesn't want anyone to know. He's also got a camera and he's standing outside the bathroom. Oh my word. He is the most suspicious person. It'd probably be good if I saved humanity from this very disturbing individual. You know how I took out that person and then everybody started freaking out? That might have been because I heard the gunshot. That might have been because I heard the person screaming or they heard other people screaming. But the thing is that you always have to look at what are the input, and it's really what are the inputs. You're going to have, hey, I should run and I should eat this. So what do you prioritize? How do you prioritize it? So you have inputs and then you have to have prioritization. And then you have to have actions that you pick based on that. So I guess that spells IPA, which is like a tax form, which is a very good way to remember. Okay, so yeah, so this is, what? Okay, so we can always find logical problems with AI because they're always going to be limited to a certain series of actions. In reality, what would have made sense? He's in the meat freezer. Why don't we lock him in there? That makes way more sense. They might just have audio triggers when people react. As a player, I don't necessarily know what they were reacting to. I just know that they were reacting. And so if somebody screams out, oh no, like, ah, then okay, I know that they're reacting to something. I don't necessarily know what they're reacting to, and maybe it's not necessarily what I'm thinking it is. But I get the impression that they're existing, that they're replying to the world because they have an audio line in reaction. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what they're going to do. I don't have to know what they're going to do. All I care about is what they're doing in the moment. What if I just shoot this into the air? Okay, that's considered a crime. Wait, am I being hunted now? Are they going to shoot me for shooting a gun into the air without shooting any person? Oh, now these guys are... okay, I don't think that's quite right, but the thing is that what you care about is what players will generally do and how the world will react to what the player will generally do. You can't cover every edge case. I might have to revoke my Hitman license. The one that makes me legal for doing this sort of thing. Boop. When you look at how the AI is reacting, you've got the different things that I am doing, and so they're reacting to other characters, they're reacting to gunshots, they're reacting to all these things, and they're going to have to prioritize them. There might be a combination effect as well, where it's like, hey, this and this and this happened, so therefore I'm going to react this way. But you have to have some sort of system in place that is gathering all of this data and collecting it. When I see what's going on with all the AI, there's a lot of different reactions to what I am trying to do in the moment. But then there's also people that are just literally walking around. If I'm holding the gun, then people are more suspicious of me. Wait, I'm trespassing. Oh, that's the worst crime. I can't do that. So now that I don't have a gun, if somebody doesn't have that knowledge, then they're not going to react to me. We got past inputs and we got present inputs. You might look at it and go, well, they want to anticipate what the player might do. Yes, but it's always going to be based on existing inputs. You cannot have an input of the future. You could have something where you are guessing about the future, but you cannot know, and so everything is always based on past or present input. It will only be input after it has already happened, so I think it's fair to say that it's all past input. He cannot, before I shoot him, be like, oh hey, he shot me. Like, it's only after I do that that happens. This is really dark. Oh, yeah, so they noticed that. Okay, and now this person was worried, that person's now worried. I don't know if they saw me or if that, okay, that person's, I think, is going to report. So let's see what they do. Okay, where are they? Okay, yep. So they went to people who were armed. So there's some characters that are noted as safe characters to the NPCs, and some characters, well, I guess I'm the one who's not. I don't know how many cases they are considered unsafe outside of me. I think that in every case they will be fine, at least from what I've seen. I've never seen them running between me and other characters, or ever, like, they never run to the player. The player is never considered safe. Which definitely simplifies things. It'd be interesting if you could make yourself seem like the safe character, but I don't know what all that would entail, and I don't think that that would follow most people's paths for the games, because that's the thing, is that when it comes to game styles like this, you want to anticipate most players' actions and work with that. You cannot anticipate all players' actions, no matter what you want to be able to do. The stinger makes it feel like the world knows what's going on, so now they're running away from me. I don't know if they're running away from me or the gunshots. And that's one of the big things with AI, is that you don't need to know what inputs people are reacting to. What matters is that to the player, it feels like they're reacting to something that is going on, because we have no idea why all these NPCs are doing these things. You can see that there's nobody coming this way. And I'm going to play a little bit more with the AI and look at more of the custom scene stuff going on. And so I can just watch for a little bit and be like, okay, what information can I gather from here? Now, as far as AI goes, all that they're doing is that they're saying, play these audio clips. When you finish playing these audio clips, go do something else. The thing with that kind of conversation where they're just talking there is it's actually an extremely simple AI setup. It feels like there's characters there. It feels like there's a lot going on, but that's just because of the audio. In reality, all that's happening is stay here, play these audio clips, have it like basically stay here for this time and then leave. And so that's something else that's really big with AI, is that it doesn't matter if it is complex, it matters if it feels complex. If to the player they're like, oh wow, these are two people having a conversation, they're smart. It gets a little bit tricky, but you can make characters feel smarter by having more inputs. Hitman has tons of inputs, and so the characters feel very smart. Now you need to make sure they have good outputs for those inputs. You need to have more reactions. What was it? IPA? Actions. Oh yeah, that's right. Because it's the tax document. Okay. You can have more results as a result of inputs that result from player inputs. I think that everybody should memorize that and put it on their wall. All right, so the area is clear. Of course, I'm not here. I'm definitely not here. And that's one thing that's really good, is that if they all knew exactly where I was, this would be very boring. Like, if they all knew, hey, this is where the character is, it would be terrible. Instead, they have to find me, and they have to have some knowledge about where I could be. Is he also stopping behind the bales? I wonder if there are specific AI spots where characters will generally stop. That would make a lot of sense. So is there going to be any reaction seeing all the bodies here?
We got multiple casualties here.
Okay, yep, multiple casualties, nice. Now, that's only a voice line. Really, all that you have to do to do that, it's actually just the same input multiple times. You can have different reactions from multiple of the same input. And so that's a really nice way to make it feel more dynamic as well. For example, it could be as simple as, rather than a character saying, oh my goodness, there's a body here, having a character say, oh my goodness, there are multiple bodies here. It doesn't have to be crazy, because you're going to have that data anyway. And the goal with AI, I guess it's worth mentioning, is it's not that the AI is smart, it's that the AI is believable. If it turns out that it's all RNG, but it feels very believable, that can be great. Now, I have hesitancy with pure RNG, or even close to pure RNG for AI, for a few reasons. One of them being that if you have pure RNG, or if you have close to pure RNG, then the player cannot logically react to them. And so it means that it is harder for the player to plan. Some RNG is great. And I think what can work better rather than RNG in reaction is RNG in personality. So for example, rather than being like, hey, you know what, there's a random chance that the character will run, because some of them just stay facing you in Hitman. Instead, have a personality for the character so that if they run, they consistently run. If they stay, they consistently stay. And I have a suspicion that that's what they did. And that's as simple as just having a float, checking a pulse, I think. So what that really is that they lean down, they check is character's health at or below 0, and then they continue. And there's a lot going on, so I'm not saying, oh, this was easy. But when you look at the basic functions, they're relatively straightforward. Now, it's a combination of all of them that gets really crazy and really intense and feels great. Something that's been interesting to me, my CPU is at 100%. Before I started streaming, the CPU is also at 100%. I'm wondering if this game actually adjusts the number of AI to how your computer is doing, or does things like that, because that would be pretty clever. And then that'd be a way to make it work across a lot of different devices. I think they're locking down the target, so basically that's something a little bit more specialized, where they are going to wherever a target is, and then the target is being locked down, being told, hey, this is the area that you are limited to. When you have a bunch of AI, not all of the AI has to be smart, only the AI that the player is looking at. Because here's the thing, is that if I don't know that a character exists, my question is not going to be, why was that character not doing something? Now, if I later learn they exist, I might ask, why weren't they coming over here? But I don't actually have to worry about that until they're in front of my face. So you can get away with a lot, because there's a bunch of AI that maybe, hey, they should be doing something, but they're not. And I don't care. I do want to say, I don't know how they program the AI in Hitman specifically, so it's really all just like thoughts based on different AI that I've worked on, or different ways that you could do this. One of the things is that groups can look smarter just by being together. It can look like there's a plan together, and maybe there is, but it's probably like it's probably relatively limited.
You're pretty good, I'll give you that.
You're pretty good. Oh, is that a Metal Gear Solid reference? Hello. Don't worry, you're fine. one of the things that's really cool and also amazing to me about these games is just how much detail they put in. Most people are going to miss a lot of this detail. They're going to play the game, they're going to miss it all. I think that for a lot of people, though, there is also a knowing that there is all this stuff does a lot for the feel of the game. Where are other people? Where have the Teletubbies gone? All right, so there's a person in here. I'm just going to say hi. Hello.
Help me! You gotta help me!
I'm not going to... You're fine. Hello. You're wearing a mask. It's kind of creepy. I'm just going to walk with you for a little while. Hey, wait, where are you going? No, I'm not going to... Don't worry. I'm just going for a walk with you. Buddy. I'm not going to hurt you. Where are you? Who is locking down the target anyway? Have I successfully completed the challenge? Because if so, cool. Was that a goat or was that a person going... Ugh! Maybe somebody's constipated. Wait, who sees me? Who sees me? Oh, hello. No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Do you know anybody? Do you have any friends? I really want to know. Look, nobody's dragging out these body bags, which is very sad. Hello. No, I'm not gonna hurt you. Don't worry. You're one of the targets. There's no way that I'm gonna hurt you. I just want to be the target's friends, okay? I guess that going to the targets is the best way to find non-targets. How do I get in here? Dagnabbit, why do you have to lock your doors? Okay, here I am. See, look it. Thank you for opening the door. See, that's polite now. Oh, hello. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're safe. Here, eat. Have something to eat. Hello. Oh, that was rude. You closed the door on me. You should know better. That is rude, okay? Where are you going? Wait a second. Yeah, go to the other person. No. You're fine. Wait, where'd you go? You're supposed to go together. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm fine. I'm a good person. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. It's interesting seeing what the AI does in this case. In general, I suppose that it's they have several different safe locations, and so they're trying to go to a safe location and hope that you aren't still there. And so it's basically just, I assume that there's just a cycle of locations. Not necessarily that they'll run to in order, but that they'll keep running to. So yeah, so this character is still running away. Keep going. Then I follow them. They're going to shut the door on me again. Okay, I think at this point it's just, we're going to see a cycle of them running away between locations. So what ends up happening at some point is that you end up having a cycle. In general, with AI, at some point you get them into some sort of cycle where it's like they do this, and it just kind of keeps looping around and they do the same thing over and over again. It makes sense in this case, but loops aren't bad. And I think that one thing that's worth noting, just if you're not into AI at this point, people doing the same things multiple times isn't bad. Or I should say AI doing the same thing multiple times isn't bad. It's actually a pattern. You might think that, hey, if I have a really smart character, they ought to be doing different things all the time, or they ought to be very unique or special or different in what they're doing. Not really. You can actually have them do a lot of similar actions, very simple similar actions, and have it still work. Like all these NPCs, they have different voice lines. They're using the same thing. You go to where they are, they run away, they go, oh no, and they call you the wrong name, and then you follow them, and then they do the same thing over and over again. It's the same logic. Nobody knows. Wait a second. Okay, so now if I end up running to where they are they going to be fine? So I just want to see. You probably don't know who I am now. Hello. So look at now it's perfectly fine. You look a little bit uncomfortable though.
Got worried for a minute.
Yeah, I got worried as you saw that. Yeah, that's a bummer, isn't it? Fred was nice. He always gave me cookies, and he always gave me hugs, and he rubbed my belly when I was sick.
Probably nothing.
So what do the other characters do? I like these are the only NPCs walking around now, and it's just like now they don't know who I am, so it's just, oh, hello.
Back to work.
Yeah, back to work. Everything's fine. I mean, nothing's happened for a while. I like you can even see that everything's back to normal. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, they have dialogue for each other. That's great.
We're standing down.
What's interesting is that in this case, we definitely see the AI break, but this doesn't really, this might sound like an odd thing to say, this doesn't really matter because this is just really important to say. You cannot plan for everything players will do. You have to look at the most likely actions and really cater to those. Because if you're trying to do everything for everything, like, oh no, the only characters left are the targets, well, they need to go into a room and plan things together. No, you can't do that. You have to know that there's a limit to what's practical, and like what the team who made Hitman has done, they've done some amazing stuff. So I really want to make sure that as I'm laughing at things going wrong, I don't want that to come across as, oh, they did a terrible job or this is stupid. No, they've done amazing. This is great. But everything breaks every now and then. And when my stuff breaks, I know that it's going to be funny to other people. And when other people's stuff breaks, it's a little bit funny to me, but it's not a negative thing towards the devs at all. Like, what they've done is amazing. But whenever you are doing AI, you can't plan for everything the players will do. You have to look at the most likely actions and really cater to those. So that's playing Hitman wrong, killing everybody but the targets. The targets, it's amazing to me, the targets just seem to be having a pretty good day now. I wonder if the target AI is separate from the Civi AI, or if it is the exact same thing.
Hey! You are trespassing!
Oh, I'm sorry.
You are trouble, and we don't like trouble here. I'm reporting this.
Oh,
Hey! What are you doing here?
I wanted to say hi to you.
Behavior.
I-
I'm getting help. You are trespassing, and we don't like trouble. What the? Please do something about that guy. He is being an ignorant. Hey!
This is,
You are trespassing.
and now,
Guards!
here's the thing, is that I can hear this and I can be like, look, it's the same lines over and over again. In general, if you're playing this and you run into this, you're not going to notice that. Bottom line is that AI is cool, and you should make cool AI. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Feel free to let me know if there's any games that you want me to study in this very reasonable, logical, perfectly normal way.
You are trespassing. You are trespassing. You are trespassing.